Hello YouTube, it's me John Avenger once again, and welcome to another Woman's Touch Month, and boy do I have a woman's touch for you. Yeah, that's saying a lot, because there's a lot of woman's touch in this. It's a 1992 American live-action adult, not for kids, animated fantasy film, directed by Ralph Bakshi, yeah, basically director in name only, and written, I say that in quotation marks, by Michael Grace and Mark Victor. It stars Kim Basinger, again, definitely woman's touch, Gabriel Byrne, and Brad Pitt. The cast is nice and small. Most of the cast is voice actors and really random sounds, but I'll get to that. It tells the story of a cartoonist who finds himself in a cartoon-like universe he thinks he created, but has existed long before. In this world, he is seduced by one of the characters, a femme fatale who wants to become human, and that is Cool World. Yes. I finally saw it. They had it on YouTube, and I watched it for free. So, no harm, no foul. Hollywood, if she could, and she will. Get it? Yeah. This was mental. It's random. It's mental, but it was entertaining. It's not, a masterpiece. It's not Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is the best one. It's not Space Jam. It's more like, a Tim Burton, Ralph Bakshi, and Robert Zemeckis' Fever Dream. Because there's things in it that are cute, like you have these little bunny rabbits in it, but then you have randomness, like people getting hit with hammers and getting hit with cars and getting hit with pies, and it's very random. This is one of the most random movies I've ever seen in my life. It's short too. It's only an hour and 37 minutes. It's not, the budget's on screen. It's a $28 million budget. It bombed. It made $14 million. And you could tell this was studio interfered, because Bakshi's backgrounds are amazing in this movie. The backgrounds of the setting of Cool World, it looks gothic and weird and just, really, elaborate. And it's really well done. And his animation's not the problem with the movie. But the studio's like, just do your weird thing and just throw all your back characters in the background and let them be weird and randy and everything. And I'm like, yeah, that's basically the whole movie. It's randy. When they get to Cool World, I'm like, everything is just like, their eyes popping out, everybody's like overly hyperactive and sensual, and I'm like, yeah, I get it though. The allegory in this movie with the women, yeah, since this is Women's Touch Month, is the female body is a work of art. I get it, Bakshi. I get what you were saying with this movie, with the women in this movie. They're a work of art. I got it. Following the success of Roger Rabbit and his own professional resurgence in television in the late 90s or 80s, Bakshi conceived it as a live-action animated horror film. This could have worked as a horror film. It's got imagery like a horror movie. He brought the idea to Paramount Pictures and became attached to direct it, and it was his feature film in nearly a decade, his first feature film. The film was intended as his comeback. However, interference... Yes, that's what kills a lot of these movies nowadays. From producer Frank Mancuso Jr. led to an extensive rewrite. Don't do that, guys. Don't mess with a director's vision. You could tell this is not Bakshi's vision. It's just his random cartoons in a Roger Rabbit type world, with the mindset of somebody like that's off their meds. And as a result, relations between Bakshi, Mancuso, and the studio deteriorated, and the film had a highly tumultuous production. I can tell. Brad Pitt is acting in this movie with cartoons, mostly. He has a scene in the beginning with his mom, then she dies, and then he's in the Cool World for most of the film. And he is really putting his effort. He's not phoning it in. This is a young Brad Pitt, before Angelina Jolie rocked his world and had babies with him, and then, you know what happened. But yeah, he did good here, and most of the voice actors did too. The film came out in summer of 1992 when I was 7. Upon its release, the film was a critical and commercial failure. Of course it was, because your studio interfered here. Just like DC did with the Suicide Squad the first time, and a bunch of Marvel movies were interfered, and when the studio gets involved, it's usually going to spell problems. X-Men Origins Wolverine, making it PG-13 when it should have been R. Or just recently with Borderlands, that should have been R, not PG-13. Studios need to screw off and leave the production to the director, the writers, and the production team, not your wallets. If Deadpool and Wolverine was interfered, it would have been PG-13 as well, and Disney didn't do that. They let Sean Levy tell a story. The film was criticized for its story, acting, and the effects. I'm sorry, the effects don't look bad. They're not the problem with the movie. It's dated because it's hand-drawn animation with live action, but I think it still looks better than CGI. There, I said it. And however, the soundtrack was awesome in the movie, and a lot of the musical cues and the visuals were praised. It was. The film bombed, I know. Despite its poor reception, Cool World developed a cult following. It deserves it. This is weird, over the top, and a stoner's wet dream. Yeah. And like I said, there's some cons in the movie. Like I said, Gabriel Byrne's not very interesting in the movie. He just plays that Gabriel Byrne's role he does in everything. Usual Suspects, End of Days, and even in Point of No Return, he's using his real accent, but he's not an interesting actor. He's just kind of boring. He's the only boring actor in the movie. And he's an ex-con, and he doesn't kill anybody in the Cool World. Brad Pitt's the main character in the movie, because he's Frank Harris. He's a veteran turned detective at Cool World, so he has a personality. And then you have Kim Basinger in this movie. Yes, the woman of the hour, the main femme fatale villain of the movie. And she's hot as hell, man. I'm going to tell you this right now. Kim Basinger's in her 70s now. And back in 1992, this was 3 years after Batman 89. Oh my God. Even as a cartoon, when she's dancing like this, and the camera's like, is right focused on her booty, and she's like, so sensual and thing. I'm like, I get it. I get it, Bakshi. I get it. As a heterosexual man, yeah. I get it. See, she's a charismatic doodle femme fatale who wishes to become a annoyed human and live in the real world. Basinger also voices Holly, and I can tell because her voice is so sexy. If Caitlin Dever does something like this, just better written, I'm gonna run around the house like the Roadrunner, because I'm like, that's a woman's touch right there. That's what the studio didn't interfere with. That this female has to be sexy, because Jessica Rabbit was sexy, and the Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Of course, she's better because she's better written, but with Holly, you can tell you get what you pay for, guys. You have Deidre O'Connell as Isabel. She's in the film a little bit. You have Michelle Abrams as Jennifer Malley, Isabel's daughter, and there's a massive voice cast. You have Charlie Adlers as Nails, the spider-like creature with the little cigar. Bob, a doodle crossdresser who is one of Holly's goons. You got a rabbit-like doodle who plays Craps of the Goons. It's cute. It's a cute little bunny. Maurice LaMarche plays the Dr. Vincent Whiskers. He's the first cartoon you see in the movie. You got Mash, a hulking bestial doodle who is one of Holly's goons. You have Jack in his doodle form. You have a drunk patron as the Slash nightclub owner. You have Joey Kamen as Slash. He sounds like this, and he has a Freddy Krueger glove. He does piss on someone, which is gross. I don't need gross out humor in this movie. It's already really random. You have Michael Lally as Sparks, a doodle gangster armed with sentient and carnivorous wooden nickels. You have Greg Snegoff as Bash. He says, "Pin me too, pin me." Yeah, again, that's exactly what I want Sophia Woodard to do to me. And yeah, it's hand drawn, so I appreciate it being hand drawn and not CGI like everything is now. And Bakshi originally intended to cast Brad Pitt, who made it to the film, and Drew Barrymore. If she had done this, I would have gone nuts. Because did you see her in Batman Forever? Yeah. Ooh, baby. Instead, the studio insisted on casting a bigger box office draw, leading to Basinger and Burns. The role of Frank was created for Pitt, and yeah, he fits the role really well. Mancuso convinced Paramount that the film's potential R rating in the U.S. would restrict attendance from anyone under 18 without a parent guardian would be too risky. Hence, while Mancuso hired Larry Gross to revise the script to target a more general PG-13 and present it on the first day of production, Bakshi stated that he felt backstabbed by Mancuso. Bakshi also claimed Basinger had approached him and Mancuso during the production to rewrite the film herself because she thought it would be great to be able to show this picture in hospitals to sick children. No, sick children would think that they were on Quaaludes seeing a movie like this. And Bakshi had to do all this random. You know why this movie's random? Because they weren't given a script to begin with. It says Bakshi's animation was done on the Paramount lot. The film's animators were never given a screenplay. Instead, told Bakshi to do a scene that's funny, whatever you do. Yeah, what do you do when you have no script? You got to just go on instinct. or improvise. I've done that before. I do that with every video I do here. I don't have a script. The visual design of the live action footage was intended to look like a living, walking painting. Yeah, it looks like a painting, and it's amazing. There's a Daffy Duck picture there, the Easter egg, in the background. Yeah, it's really short, fast, so you have to see it in one of the driving scenes. And yeah, it's very random. Like if you've never seen a movie like this, yeah, it's as weird as you can get. It says Jack and Holly here. Reviews were critical of the compositing. I don't think it looks that bad. It was 1992, guys. They didn't have Avatar CGI back then. And that's kind of the same movie, except that gets billions of dollars, a big budget, and the effects are praised for high heaven, which is the only reason that movie made money. There's the picture of them together. And that is so sexy. Her in white like that. Where was this in Star Wars? In Disney Star Wars? We can't sexualize women because men are not going to go see it. I'm like, you can't take that away from us, because we're going to find an avenue to find women that look like this. Sorry, but you can't stop us. You can't stop us, Kathleen Kennedy. A 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is not a 4%. I have seen way, way worse. Cool World throws a small handful of visual sparks, but there aren't enough to distract from the screenplay's thin characters and scattered plot. Yes, the plot is scattered, but I can take it. Variety said praising the soundtrack and the visuals, but panning the story. The plot was heavily derided by other reviewers. I know. Again, it's Who Framed Roger Rabbit meets, I don't know, with Crow visuals with The Crow. The Crow came out 2 years after this. It says it's for adults and Bakshi completionists only. And Bakshi's done worse than this, where he wasn't studio interfered, and he did a lot of these random cartoons in the 80s and the 90s that were weird, like much weirder than this. The film garnered a Razzie nomination for Kim Basinger. It's not her fault, guys. The hobo should have gotten a Razzie for everything she's done because she can't act. Basinger was trying here. And her sexy voice like this, when they touch something, they really touch it. And when they taste something, they really taste it. I'm like, again, her voice is sexy. There's nothing I can't bash her on that. I can't do it, guys. As a hetero, this is exactly what I needed after so many of these accents I had to sit through. Where it wasn't sexy, it was just painful. Here, it's not painful. It's weird. It's random. It's very surreal. It's like SpongeBob SquarePants humor on acid, but I've seen worse. I have. Ask anybody that's seen, talk to me on Facebook. I've seen way, way worse movies than this. Animated and live action. As much as I don't hate the Emoji Movie, that's worse than this. Yeah, because the freaking the hand emoji was voiced by James Corden, and he's annoying. He has that British accent, just gets on my nerves. There's no British accents here. It's safe for someone like me that has ADHD and have all this craziness in my face. It could have been a lot worse, guys. It really could have. I appreciate the imagination. I appreciate the background drawings, and I appreciate some of the actors, and I appreciate it being under 2 hours. I would sit through this again any day over Eternals, but that's boring, unimaginative, and I hated the characters mostly. And you took Angelina Jolie and made her dull. You didn't make her sexy, you have to make her dull. At least Kim Basinger is trying here. Even when she's in human form, she's like, oh, it smells so good, and she's so randy. I'm like, I get it, guys. I get it. Human beings are sexual. I get it. You would think I was going to bash this movie. No, I can't, because Bakshi tried the best he could. He didn't have a script, so he had to just throw random cartoons in the background, and it doesn't flow, but I've seen worse from him and from other people. And I would not hate on this movie, because I'm like, it's a cult film. This is the Mario Brothers movie from 93. This is the 98 Godzilla. This is Spaceballs. This is, the Buckaroo Banzai. This is not a movie meant for critics. It's meant for people like me that want to be entertained. And I was. As weird and over the top as this was, and trust me, it is, I was entertained. Can't blame me for that. Can't blame a guy for trying. But that's my review on Cool World. It's not good, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. You couldn't make a worse movie like this if you tried, unless you get. What about those terrible animated movies they made years later, like that freaking those animated movies that the Double Toasted has reviewed. What's it called, like Rhapsody Kids or something like that? Yeah, those are way worse because even the syncing of the animation is bad. Here, the voice acting is not the problem. It's not. The animation's fine. The acting is fine. The plot's not very good, but it's not the worst plot I've ever seen either. If you shut your brain off, this movie, there'll be an entertaining random movie for you. And if you get a bunch of friends over and you want to have a movie night and you want to see something that's like nothing you've ever seen, see it. I recommend seeing it at least once. Just don't do drugs when you're seeing it because you're going to be completely out of it. But I don't recommend that. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Acknowledge me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.